Thank you, Beverly. I want to make first, before I get started, I want to make sure everybody got the handout. So I'm going to start a few. Is there anyone who doesn't have a handout? I'm going to wait a moment for everyone to get their handout. Yeah, I think we all have a handout now. Yes. Identity theft. Isn't the very sound of that phrase frightening? Well, let me tell you, it's also an extremely costly scenario. And unfortunately, it's the fastest growing crime in America. The numbers are extremely frightening. For 2009, which is the last year we can get complete statistics on, 11.1 million adults, that's 4.8% of our population, became victims of identity theft. This is up from the 9.5 for the years before. The cost to the victims, $6 billion. And then another $48 billion for the banks and other credit institutions that had to swallow the losses when the victim says, "That's not mine, you take it." That's a healthy haul for the thieves involved. So your most valuable asset, don't tell me you're retired and you don't have to deal with this anymore. Your most valuable asset is your identity. And now more than ever, you better protect it. You need to know that you are the one that is using your identity. This is paramount to your peace of mind, your quality of your life, and your ability to acquire credit. Back to "I'm retired, who cares?" Wait till you want to sign for that grandson's first car. And you find out your credit ain't even there. Credit counts. I don't care what stage of your life it's in. Now, unfortunately, there's numerous villains out there just waiting to glom on to somebody else's credit, including yours. They will break into your car, not for the stereo system. They really don't care about that CV. Your phone can be laying there. What they want is that bank statement you threw on the back seat and forgot about. They'll go through your trash looking for those pre-approved credit card applications that you're always getting in the mail. Never throw one away with it except through a shredder. They'll ask you for it. And being polite people, we normally will respond to questions. You might know, you better know, if it's anywhere near your personal data, know who you're talking to. But identity theft can be prevented. And I cannot stress how important it is to you to protect your identity. So how are identities stolen? If you look at the first page of your handout, you'll see that you've got room for that. Everybody with me now? Most people are just paranoid about hackers online. I can hear them now. "Oh, I wouldn't dare use online banking. I'd be too afraid some hacker get my information." Hacking requires intelligence, training, concentration, and skills. Assuming you had the concentration and the skills to hack somebody else's personal information, would you be after your own checking account? Or would you be after Arnold Schwarzenegger's? These are the same people that after seeing how frightened they are... Would you hand me that yellow folder, please? Oh, never mind, I got it. How frightened they are of online hackers, and they're going to write checks. They write the check, they put it in an envelope like this, and clip it to the mailbox on the front of their house. That's pretty obvious what it is, but if it wasn't obvious enough, Discover wanted to make their life easy. They put it on there that this is a bill and it has a check in it. If I get my hands on your check, I've never done this. I can take Scotch tape off your signature, use a solution of bleach and water to erase all the other writing on it. I've got the numbers I can check with your bank to see how much money is in your account, make that check out for that amount of money and cash it, and that was your signature. So when you're worried about hackers, worry more about paper, because that is where it happens most often, is in paper. How do they get the paper? If they can get their hands on a wallet, oh, they are they are happy. Especially, and ladies, we're probably the most guilty ones about that. You know those nice little clutch purses that you can put your checkbook in, your driver's license, and all your credit cards and all that? Oh, really? Identity theft dream is getting their hands on a wallet like that. Not only will they be glad to take the mail from your mailbox that you clipped to that to get the check, they'll follow the post person around. Far enough behind said post person, whether it's a he or she, the she. My post person's a she, so I have a tendency to call post persons she, so that she doesn't realize it's happening. And they normally work in pairs when they're doing this. Some of them even go so far as to dress like, you've seen the young Mormons doing their missionary round. They're always nicely dressed, wearing their helmets on their bicycles. They will dress like them. They will come to the door while one of them is appears to be knocking, the other one's rifling the mail in your mailbox to see what they can steal. They're looking for that Discover card statement. They want the number. They're looking for that envelope that has those credit checks in it. They are looking for that envelope with the pre-approved credit office in it. Your mailbox can be a very dangerous place to be. You might want to consider a P.O. box or something like that. They'll go through your trash. Oh, yeah. And some of us even sort it out nicely for us. We put this trash into the recycle bin, which is relatively clean. Set the recycle bin out the night before and go to bed. Oh, boy. What's in that recycle that they can use to get your identity? Could I recommend a cross-cut shredder? And sometimes they'll just ask you. Remember, I brought it up a few minutes ago. We're polite people, and so we have a tendency to respond to requests, especially if they're polite. Oh, by the way, Luana, what is your Social Security number? You would be inclined to respond to that, but there should be a little, what the hell does Myra want with my Social Security number? That one's a little obvious. When they add your date of birth, stop and think. When you're going through those security things just to verify that you are you, your date of birth is one of the things that answer. Your date of birth can be as sensitive as your Social Security number. So if I'm asking you, what month, when's your birthday? And you, to give me the month and the day is fine. If I start pushing for the year you were born, but that's when a red flag should go up. What does she want to know my exact birthday for? You need to think about those things. Now, the next three are calling to pretending to be your creditor. I think most of us are very familiar with. We've been married. People don't, if they initiate the contact, whether it's on the phone or email, don't respond. If you feel like it's legitimate, say, I'll call you back. And you look up the number. You don't call them back on the number they gave you. If it's on the internet, don't use the link in there. They're great at that. Use your own link. Dishonest employees. Unfortunately, now there's a lot of urban myths out there about the abuses of credit cards. I just love the one about the Walmart employees that every time they get a shot at your debit card, they add $20 to it. Notice, especially at Walmart, before you sign it, it gives you is this balance correct? Is this amount right? Okay, but it can happen. It can happen. This is why most of your businesses have set it up to where you don't release your credit card. Your credit card never goes out of your sight. Your sole remaining sensitive point is restaurants. And even some of them are bringing their little things to the table and running your credit card and handing it back to you. When your credit card has been out of your sight, that's when you need to be a little concerned, especially if you're traveling. If they really, they can see my motorhome with this California tag out there and I'm in Wyoming, I've just clued that, hey, she's going to be gone for a while. These are the times where you really need to be aware of what's happening to your credit card. Accessing your personnel records at work. Well, I can hear you now. I'm retired. Folks, is this any surprise when I tell you your personnel records are just in a different pile? The one marked retired employees. And sometimes elders are assumed, because we're retired, we're supposed to be over 65. I know some of us got out early, but that's all right. They assume we're not as alert and as aware. And unfortunately, after retirement, sometimes we do relax the alertness and the awareness that we used as active employees. Where your personal data is concerned, you need to stay alert and aware as long as you breathe. Okay, now that's how they get it. What do they do with it after they got it? How did they use your information? If they got the right information, they counterfeit an ATM card, ask for a receipt, ask for $20, ask for a receipt, and they can wipe your account out real quick. If they've got that much information, they can duplicate checks. Remember the games that I told you I could play once I got my hands on your check? If they get their hands on your check, they got everything they need. And, it doesn't even take a lot of intelligence to go to a software store and say, I want to make up my own checks. Where's the kit? They hand you the kit. You take it home. You bring it up. You fill it out and print out your checks. You're good to go. They will also, if they have enough of your identity, they will open a new bank account, get the checks, put some money in it so that if you're okay, and then they will upload enough paper all over the place. Fortunately, the businesses have become aware, so this is not as lucrative as it should have been. Remember I said they were going through your mailbox to get that Discover card statement, the Visa statement? They've got it. They've got the number. Do they go on the internet and have a spending spree you wouldn't believe? You can rack up mega thousands of dollars on the internet in 24 hours. That's back to the ones, they got your credit card, they get the number on it, and those are dangerous because they get the security code. They've got that before I can get home to California. Some crook in Wyoming has racked up $20,000 worth of charges if they can get my American Express number because it has that high limit. Fortunately, one of the things I love about American Express is they got a computer program that tells them it ain't me. I don't know how, but I love it. They'll open you credit card accounts. Then they can really have a spending party without you knowing it. So let's talk about how to prevent it. I've already talked about some things. Protect your mail, protect your credit cards, things like that. Social network postings. Let's go back to Luana's birthday. Happy 65th birthday today, Luana.
Thank you.
I just told the whole world exactly when her birthday is. Back to you're online and they're verifying your identity. Oh, Luana, I was so sorry to hear about your uncle's death. Jim Jones was such a great person. Be sure to convey my sympathy to your mother. I have just now told him what her mother's maiden name was, Jones. What's on those social postings? Be careful what you put on there yourself. And when your friends post things, look to see if it compromises. By the time they get her mother's maiden name and her date of birth, they can use it if they know how to get her social security number. She's out. Be careful what's on that. When you get that credit card statement, go over it. Have they snuck a few in there to see if you're really watching it, especially a high-dollar credit card? Oh, they love my American Express. The reason I love it is because the computer catches them. If you catch them right then the credit card companies can stop it right then. But if you let one or two little ones get by, next month they're going to be maxed that out. Go online and check them. The other thing you need to check, just to, if you wait that long, I won't. My checking account is checked a minimum of twice a week. If there's anything happening at the Golden One that I didn't authorize, I'm not waiting on that statement to show up. I'm going to know about it. My credit cards are normally checked twice a month to see. I don't worry as much. Like I say, I don't know how American Express does it, but they can catch a fraudulent entry before I know it happened, calls me and tells me about it. This has happened. I've had them on the phone. Did you request cell phone service using your American? Hell no, I didn't. Did you request AOL? I don't do AOL. They've done this several times. And when I was really having the problem, somebody was getting those numbers. We figured out who, and that person did 6 months in jail, but that doesn't change what happens. Okay. If you're going to use your credit card online, be sure the site is secured. There are 3 ways. One is going to have a little lock in it. And the other one, because I just found out about the third one, I want to look at it so that I can tell you exactly how they do it. Oh, okay. We are accustomed to it, the HTTP changing to HTTPS at the end. There's a few of them now that put the S at the beginning. It comes up with, it brings not very polite word to mind, but you may find it SHTTP up there. I don't know why some of them are doing that, but they do. Those are the ways if you're going to use your credit card online. Also, with me, if I'm not familiar, I will use it on Costco without thinking about it. I would use it on the JCPenney's if I brought it up. I find something on the internet that they want my credit. I want to know about them before I'm even going to take a chance on it. I don't care that it says it's secure. This is enough. Of course, I've been there, done that, back in $40,000 to $60,000 charges off your credit cards. Gives you a healthy respect for little things like being aware. If I'm not familiar with it, I really am very, very reluctant to use it. And reluctance is a lot. Prevention is worth 50 pounds a cure. Okay, check. You can consider signing up for a credit card watch. That's up to you. I don't think it's worth it. And I've been there, done that. I want to go back to 4.8% of the citizens have been subjected to identity theft. That means 95 points you haven't. Now, if you want that credit watch, I promise you, any of your charge card companies will be glad to do it. There's umpteen out there. Most of them are legitimate, but think about it. Do you really want, and think about the cost. If it's ever offered to me free as a benefit of my charge card, I'll take it. But no, I'm not giving them $9.95 a month. I won't even give them $3.99 a month. It's not worth it to me because I know how it happens. I know what the odds are. You want to check your credit report annually. You see all those ads on television about the guy at the Renaissance Fair, free credit. That's not the free one. If they ask for a credit card, it is not free. The one that is free, let me find that. It's www.annualcreditreport.com. That one is free. That one is supported by the credit card companies on the back of this. You can activate a security freeze. Now, a security freeze is different from a fraud alert. And I think it was 2003. At this point in time, 47 of the states mandate that the credit card companies allow you to freeze your credit. credit reporting bureaus allows you to, when you put a freeze on your credit, they cannot issue a credit report on you. This stops fraud cold. If they can't get a credit report, the credit's not going to go through. So anybody who is vulnerable to credit feels that they're vulnerable. Now, if you're already a victim of identity theft, it's free. If you have it documented that you've already been the event, I think there's a charge. And the last time I could verify the charge, it was $10. Let me tell you, this is a bargain. So this might be one of the things that you want to consider. You can also purchase identity theft services, which is called prepaid legal. They push it using scare tactics. As we're retired state employees, we can get prepaid legal at a very reasonable cost through PERS, and they will provide us with assistance if it happens to us. The prepaid legal that is pushing identity theft is expensive. I think the last account I had was about $29.99 a month. And, we can look at our pay stubs and tell we ain't paying near that for our prepaid, which is across the board. If you are interested, I have a handout from the Consumer Federation of America on 9 things to check. Feel free to pick one up. Last but not least, remember, you are the only one who can prevent your identity from being stolen.